Good afternoon. My name is Trey Harden. I'm a public art coordinator with Metro Arts, and we're gonna wait about 5 minutes and get started with the presentation. Just for anyone who might want to tune in a little later. Good afternoon. My name is Trey Harden. I'm with Metro Arts Commission as a public art coordinator. and we're going to go through a presentation today about Smith Springs Community Center and the call to artists. So first off, we'll go over the agenda for today. First, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to Metro Arts and the Percent for Art Fund and tell you a little bit more about how the public art process works. Then we'll talk specifically on Smith Springs Community Center, and we'll talk more about the site, the artwork, eligibility, project timeline, and how you can apply as an artist. And then we'll finish up with questions. If you have questions, I will actually put my email address up for you to send questions, or if you are able to use the chat function, that will also be another way for questions. So we'll get started. So we're Metro Arts Commission, and we are trying to drive a vibrant and equitable community through the arts. And there's a kind of a formula that we have called the theory of change on how we can do that. As you see, the stronger creatives, creative workers, vibrant creative neighborhoods, and deep cultural participation intersect and create a creative life for everyone. And kind of some of the strategies we have of reaching these goals are by increasing resources for the creative ecosystem. We also want to drive equity and inclusion and create more access to that ecosystem for everyone who might be interested. And we hope that these ways can help improve our community's creative infrastructure. We strive to reach these goals by using different programs such as Learning Lab and Thrive, and through training and education. Also trying to look at our policies and reevaluate how we can adjust those policies to reach these goals, and through working with other organizations and artists through partnerships. We'll talk a little bit about the Percent for Art Fund. So the public artwork is funded through an ordinance that was adopted in 2000. The ordinance sets aside a percent of certain metro capital improvement projects, the funds that are used for those projects, and we commission and purchase artwork that can be placed in these different project areas. They don't have to be in the location that the funds were generated. We can actually pool the funds and kind of group them together and use them for different projects. Kind of the process of kind of creating a public art project. We start with the staff. So we meet with different metro departments and find locations, public locations specifically, where we think artwork could be placed. And we get a budget for the project and create a project timeline. We then form a selection panel, which I will tell you a little bit more about in the next couple slides. And then we gather input from citizens through open meetings during the project process. We also need to get the projects approved by our public art committee, and they approve site locations, project budgets, and the citizen selection panel. And then after the final artist is decided, we take that back to the PAC committee, and they approve the artist as well. And then finally, our commission approves the PAC's recommendations, and they are in charge of updating our Percent for Art policies, and they make the final art and budget decisions. The Public Art Committee consists of 2 Metro Arts commissioners who are on the commission, at least 1 professional artist, and members with art backgrounds, public art, visual arts, or contemporary arts. If they have some type of expertise that makes them qualified. We also have design professionals like architects, landscape architects, and urban planners, people representing the Nashville community, as well as different advisors from different metro departments, such as planning, public works, parks, just to name a few. The public art collection now consists of, I believe, 46 pieces. About 65% of those pieces are from Tennessee artists, and about 50% are Nashville-based artists. The first Public artwork was Ghost Ballet, which a lot of you might be familiar with. That was installed in 2007, and it has grown since then, and we hope to continue to grow that collection. For this project, we'll be using a citizen selection panel. We actually have 9 individuals for this project, and on that panel, we have professional artists, arts and design professionals, community representatives, and site representatives. We also have a PAC member who will serve as the selection panel chair and will be non-voting and ex officio non-voting member. Panelists must fit these categories. They must be a resident of Nashville, the greater Nashville area, Davidson County, and they have to commit about a day or a day and a half for meetings, so 8 to 16 hours. And they are not paid, so any panelist is a volunteer and is also not able to go after kind of any calls to artists that we put out. Now we'll talk a little bit more about the project and what we're looking for this project. We're looking for a professional artist or artist team to design, fabricate, and install interior artwork at the Smith Springs Community Center. And not only do we want to have an artwork installed, we also want there to be community engagement. So we're looking for an artist who is willing to engage with the community and neighborhood throughout the process to kind of create the best artwork and kind of artwork programming that works best for the community. The project budget is $150,000 for this project, and that's for community engagement processes and the development of the artwork itself. And I guess this figure represents total artist budget and includes artist fees for community engagement and design development, overhead and operating costs, fabrication costs, all project-related travel, installation costs, and site preparation costs. It also includes insurance, contingency, and any other project-related costs that the artist might incur. This is the site of the project. It's 2801 Smith Springs Road in Smith Springs, the southeast Nashville area, so near Antioch and right next to Percy Priest Lake. A little bit about the site. Smith Springs Community Center is a recommendation from the Countywide Parks and Greenways Master Plan. So it'll be a 15-acre park and community center in southeast Nashville. It will have a swimming pool, a gym, walking trails, and a playground as well. It's in a historically rural community near Percy Priest Lake. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background about the community that it's in, kind of the main attraction in the community is Percy Priest Lake, and it has been since the 60s, and it kind of draws a lot of local citizens and regional guests to the neighborhood. With the development of the Percy Priest Dam in the 60s, there was a kind of a big attraction and people moving to this area. And then with the development of the Hickory Hollow Mall also in the 70s, it brought a lot of new citizens into the community. So with these new additions, the community had a lot of economic growth, and that kind of led throughout the 90s, leading to a housing boom. So that's kind of where a lot of the citizens who are currently in the area, that's kind of how they got to the Smith Springs area. And now with the rejuvenation of kind of the area around Hickory Hollow Mall, there was also a construction of a new park and community center in Southeast. So it's a bit of a crowded area and kind of a weird spot, especially for traffic in the city and kind of getting in and out. So a lot of the citizens are having to travel further than they would like for your resources that you would find at a community center. So Smith Springs will allow citizens to access resources that they might have to travel for kind of right in their backyard. The construction will begin in the next couple months, and it should last about 12 to 14 months total for the entire project. This is a kind of a little master plan. It's not official, but just kind of an idea of what the site will look like. You have your the community center as number one. You can see that, and the rest of the site is kind of mapped out as well, with the Smith Springs Road being on the right hand side. Now we'll start talking about what the artwork kind of can be on this site. It'll be an interior artwork in the lobby of the community center. And the idea would be that the artwork should visually enhance and promote a positive reputation of the community, should contribute to the character and texture of the Southeast Nashville community, while reflecting and paying homage to the strong agricultural and natural history of Smith Springs. We would hope that the artwork would invite social interaction, and obviously we want it to resonate with people of all ages and backgrounds. In a broader sense, the project may also stimulate creative thinking and foster artistic development in the community, and serve as a tool for community development and social impact. And with these two things, this is where we specifically get in kind of community engagement and how the artist can draw these things and work with the community to achieve these two things specifically. This is another diagram, kind of a schematic drawing that shows where the artwork might go. This is kind of what the design team has mapped out for us up to this point. So this isn't necessarily permanent, but these are kind of the guidelines we're working off of right now. So you can see there's a opportunity for a hanging piece of artwork to kind of suspend from the ceiling, or there's a 30-foot by 12-foot wall where the artwork could be placed as well. Eligibility: to be eligible, you must be a professional artist with at least 2 years of visual art exhibition history, or at least 2 years of commissioned visual or public art. We've gotten the question a little bit about whether or not you have to have public art experience, and this call is open to artists who haven't done public art before, but you do need to keep in mind that professional artists, your 2 years of visual art experience are necessary. These artists also don't include architects, landscape architects, and other design professionals who are not considered public professional artists, under this definition. Also, work done during an artist's undergraduate education does not count towards these criteria. So if you're just graduating and you have work that you want to submit a year ago from your graduation, or from your undergraduate education, that does not qualify. This is also a regional call, meaning the artist must reside within a 350-mile radius of Nashville. Here's a tentative project timeline. We issued the call to artists at the end of last month. All qualification submissions are due on January 29th, and that's through our submittable platform, which I can actually show you at the end of this presentation. Next month, we'll have the selection committee review the artist submissions, and then before March 3rd, we like to finish up the shortlisted artist interviews and award an artist in March. Then we'll begin the artist contracting process, and that's when we'll sit down with the design team and the artist and begin community engagement in the spring and summer of this year. And then hopefully we can start fabrication in the fall or summer of this year, and then hopefully have a dedication in the early winter of next year. Now to apply, there's kind of 4 main things we're looking for. We need a letter of interest kind of addressing the Smith Springs community. And a lot of people have reached out trying to figure out exactly what to write in that letter of interest. We do have a few questions to consider, which is also posted on the submittable page. But I'll list a few of those. So one question is, what about the project resonates with you as an artist, and what excites you about the project? Why do you think public art is important, and what type of impact do you hope to have through your artwork? And what are some ways that you believe public art can be used to engage a community and foster creative thinking and artistic development? And finally, what is your personal connection with the Nashville, Southeast Nashville community? And if you're not familiar with this community, what is your plan to establish a meaningful connection and engage with this community? So these are just a few questions to consider when writing your letter of interest addressing this project. Of course, they're not limited to these questions. If you feel that there's something that you found out about this project or feel about this project that you really want to share, then definitely include that as well. We also need up to 6 digital images of recent work within the past 5 years. So along with these 6 images, we need a title, kind of what media the artwork is, the dimensions of the artwork, the budget for the project, as well as the date of completion and a description of the artwork. Depending on what media you're using, we can also work out whether or not you can submit images. I know I've had questions about submitting different videos. So that's something that is possible. We would just need to kind of work that out. So if you have questions on that, feel free to contact me, and I'll give you my contact information at the end. We also need a current artist resume, not to exceed 4 pages. So that's 4 pages, single-sided. So 2 double-sided pages or 4 single-sided pages. We also need 3 references, who are people you have worked on an art project with, who can describe your participation and contribution to those projects. So we need their name, title, mailing address, email address, and a daytime telephone number. Now we're just gonna kind of show you the 3 steps kind of public art in this process. So first we have the concept and the idea. So this is Jenna Cold's handlebar mustache design, which is a bike rack design. And so you can see just the general sketching and like sizing of the design. And then this is the mustache, the handlebar mustache during fabrication. And then finally, here at 715 Porter, you see the installed handlebar mustache. So kind of those, the design, fabrication, and installation of the public artwork. And for those of you who have not done public art before and are a little worried about kind of this process, we have quite a few resources that we can use to kind of help with fabrication and installation and things like that. So that should not be a huge problem. All right, and now we will open the floor up for questions. So if you're available, or sorry, if you're able to enter questions into the chat, we will be taking questions. If not, you can email me questions and I will post my email address. Give me just a second. sounds like we don't have too many questions as of yet. All right, so we do have a question from Robbie, who asked if it's possible to have non-regional artists on an artist team for this project, and that would be people who are not in that 350-mile range. And the answer is yes. If you are doing an artist team, you may have artists who are not in the region, as long as the lead artist is within that 350-mile range. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, I haven't received any more questions at this point, so I am going to wrap it up. Unless anyone has any last minute questions. If not, you can reach me by email at Don. We'll put my phone number up there, which is 615-862-6739. All right. Once again, there's my contact information. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you guys for tuning in.